Hey guys, coming to you live from Moxie headquarters. This is Sherry. I'm here riding solo today. Adam is in Orlando doing training at a company on site down there. How was everyone's Thanksgiving? Ours was quiet, which is always nice. And quick, went by very quickly. We've got a lot of traveling that we're doing here over the next couple of weeks and in preparation for this new online program that we're launching. And if you haven't checked it out yet, please do. Today's question comes to us from a new recruiter. And their question is, I'm a new recruiter in the industry. I have a sales background, but nothing in healthcare. I was so confident in my last job, but feel so awkward on the phone now for some reason. I think it's because of my lack of knowledge in the nursing profession in general. Any advice? Lots of advice for you. First of all, everyone has been there. Everyone that sits in the recruiter chair has been where you are. Nobody comes into this profession with experience. They may have had experience as a nurse and now they're a recruiter, but they're learning how to become a recruiter, or they were in sales just like you were, or, there are a lot of recruiters that are just getting hired straight out of college and this is their first real job. And, the most important thing to remember is that you're not alone. Most recruiters start off exactly where you're at. When I was recruiting, I think back to when I was recruiting, 15 years ago, and I don't even think we had internet back then. Maybe we did, but it probably wasn't very good. So we were totally winging it back then, and there's so much access to resources now for you guys to help do your jobs better. One thing I want to talk about for a minute, though, is something called limiting beliefs, and we have to be really careful about this as recruiters. Limiting beliefs are something that we start to believe about ourselves, and it limits our abilities to do things. It's kind of the, well, if you think you can't, then you won't type deal. And so make sure that you're not getting into your own head. There's nothing about this job that can't be learned. There's nothing about pitching a pay package that can't be learned. There's nothing about the difference between a labor and delivery and an LDRP nurse that can't be learned. But don't limit yourself. Don't believe things about yourself that aren't true. Companies hire great people for positions, and you're one of those people. So don't let that intimidate you. I'll be honest, I didn't know that there was a difference between a phase 1 and a phase 2 PACU until last year. I didn't even know that there was a phase 1 and a phase 2 PACU. I thought they were all the same. And I feel like I know a lot about this industry. So don't ever be intimidated or feel less confident about what you're doing because you're unsure. I think the coolest thing about being a recruiter in healthcare staffing is that you're working with people who help other people for a living, right? If you ask a nurse, help me understand what you do every day, they're going to be happy and excited to do that. They love helping people. And there's nothing wrong with asking them that. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I've talked with a couple of labor and delivery nurses, but I'm not really clear about the difference between what a labor and delivery nurse does versus what an LDRP nurse does. Or I've talked with a couple PACU nurses and I've heard some of them talk about these different phases. Can you explain that to me? I don't understand what that means. Nurses love to help people, and they're going to be happy to sit and talk about themselves and talk about their profession. They're going to be excited to share that information with you. At the end of the day, they're not looking to you to be a nurse. They're looking to you to be a recruiter, a good recruiter. And as much information as they can provide you to help you be a good recruiter, they're going to be happy to do. So just don't worry about the details. At the end of the day, look for a good person. don't worry about the little minute details of what they do clinically on a daily basis. That'll come later. You know, with new recruiters, I feel like you lose sight of that. We're looking for good nurses. We're looking for good people first. Find good people and then worry about whether or not they're a good nurse. Chances are, if they're a good person and they're talking with you and they're having a great conversation and they're engaged and they're sharing things with you and you're sharing things with them, they're going to be a good nurse. But start there. Start with the relationship first and worry about the clinical stuff and the technical side of things later. Focus on those things first. I hope that helps. Again, our question today, if you missed the first part of it, the question today was, you know, I'm a new recruiter in the industry and, you know, there's a lack of confidence. They were so confident in their last job doing phone sales, and now here they are recruiting and they feel intimidated because they don't know a lot about the nursing profession. And really, truly, I can't stress enough, everyone has been where you've been. Every recruiter that's ever hit the phones in our industry has been where you've been. Knowing what a nurse does every day on a clinical basis is not that important in those initial relationship building phone calls. So focus on finding good people first. And figure out the clinical stuff later. It is important. I don't want to say it's not important. It's very important. Obviously, you have to know what they do to be able to match them with the right jobs, but find good people first and don't hesitate to ask them to explain things to you. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know, hey, can you help me understand? I want to know more about what you do so that I can help match you with the best jobs out there. I hope this is helpful information for you and a lot of the other newbies that are out there. Not so shameless plug. If you guys do need help with recruiting and you do want to know what those differences are without having to Google them, feel free to call us. That's what we do. We train recruiters and we'd love to help. So if you guys need anything, holler, keep your questions coming. We love hopping on these every week and we're here to help. So don't hesitate with those questions. And we'll talk with you soon. See ya.